What the fuck is going on YouTube? The name is Montero, and I am back with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the best albums of 2021. Now, 2021 was quite an incredible year for music. There were so many great albums, one after the other. It was so consistent. We never really had a break because there was so much happening. And today, I feel like sharing my personal favorite albums of 2021. Note that this is in no particular order, and this is just my personal opinion. Anyway, let's just stop all the talking and just get right on to the video. Also, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification for more. Anyway, let's get right on to it. First album I'm going to talk about is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. Man, oh man, Tyler, the Creator is low-key becoming one of my favorite rappers as of right now because he has been having this incredible run over the last 5 years. He has just been dropping great album after great album after great album. And the run continues with Call Me If You Get Lost, man. I love this album. I think this album is fantastic. I love the production and beats on this album. The production is so rich. It's so classy. It's so tropical. Like, it sounds like I'm on vacation when I listen to this album. This shit is like the littest elevator music ever. There's so many sounds in this album, and yet it all consistently flows together as of one full vibe, if that makes any sense. And it sounds very explorative. And as for Tyler, the Creator, yeah, Tyler, the Creator, back on his rap shit, and yeah, his rapping was great on this album. He was, like, especially on... And what I love about his rapping on this album is how blunt he is. Especially in the story of him talking about this relationship. Especially on songs like Massa, Sweet / I Thought You Wanted to Dance, and Wilshire. It's very obvious on like what he's talking about. It's not vague at all. And the features are great. Lil Wayne's verse on Hot Wind Blows is fantastic. Domino's Genesis feature was great. Oh my god, Juggernaut is an absolute banger with Pharrell and Lil Uzi. There's bangers like that in Lemonhead. And there's also like smooth songs like What's Your Name, Massa, and Sweet / Thought You Wanted to Dance. And even on some boom bass shit like Corso. Like it's so... I just think it's one of the most, like, this album is fantastic. It's so consistent. There's not a single skip on it. And yeah, this album is fantastic. My favorite songs would be being Hot Wind Blows, What's Your Name, Massa, Sweet / I Thought You Wanted to Dance, and Juggernaut. Next, we got The Melodic Blue by Baby Keem. Baby Keem is slowly becoming a rap superstar. He has completely won me over the last year. And I was really anticipating this album, and it definitely did not disappoint. Like, I love his personality and, like, the weird, quirky flows and cadences that he uses. And, the Kendrick Lamar's appearance on Range Brothers was one of the more, like, memorable verses of the year. But what I love about this album is how unpredictable it is. This album has so many twists and turns that you would not expect coming from Baby Keem. Mind you, we have bangers like Trademark USA or Family Ties or Vent, but on the same album you have songs like Issues or Lost Souls or fucking 16. And there's a lot of beat switches. It's so interesting because it never feels samey. And even songs like Scars has a lot of, like, is very 808s and Heartbreak inspired. Yeah, I'm loving what Baby Keem has been doing recently, and honestly, like, he's just getting better and better. Baby Keem is definitely one of the more interesting artists over the last year. Next album I got is Whole Lotta Red by Playboi Carti. Now, this is probably the most polarizing rap album of the last year, and it's very easy to see why. This album is so risky, but I think it paid off really fucking well. This album is so fun to me. It's such a fun album. It's so addicting. It's so, like, the production and is so in your face, and I love it. Cardi's fucking energy and his vocal straining is fucking ridiculous. And I disagree when some people say that it's phoned in, because if it was phoned in, it would basically just be a Die-Lit Part 2. And it's definitely not. Like, this album just feels so unfiltered and raw. This album just feels like it gives zero fucks, and I love it a lot. I do think this album is ahead of its time, and it's gonna be making an impact. It's already starting to make an impact, but I think it's gonna be even more of an impact in the future. And also, I did not forget all y'all motherfuckers who shitted on the album the day it came out. Don't think that I forgot about that shit. Now, this next album is an album that I wasn't expecting much out of, and that album is OK Human by Weezer. My curiosity got the best of me when I was going into this album, because I've heard some good things about it, but I was still curious, because, like, I ain't gonna front, like, I'm not even, like, big into Weezer like that. I just don't really listen to a lot of their music, but fuck me, dude, I am so glad I listened to that album, because, oh my God, this album is so good. They're a rock band, obviously, but they ditch guitars, and the album is basically basically pianos and strings, basically like an orchestra. The strings are insane. The drumming is great. Rivers Cuomo sounds pretty good. The songwriting is also really solid as well. And kind of talking about like technology and how, like, it affects people nowadays, how technology has affected people in general. And I feel like that's done pretty well. But dude, this album is so beautiful. It's almost theatrical at times. It kind of gives me like fucking Revolver and Sgt. Pepper type vibes. There's not a single skip on this album. And oh my God, dude, the choruses are so fucking good on this album. The choruses are fantastic. Yeah, this album is incredible. Like, and that's crazy. I'm not even, like, into Weezer like that, but I am so glad I listened to it, because this is by far one of my favorites of the year, period. This next album is an album that I guarantee you 99% of y'all have never heard it, because I haven't heard it until more recently. And that album is Glass Kites 2 by Glass Kites. This album is the definition of a hidden gem. One of my online friends showed me this album, and I'm so glad he did, because oh my God, I love this. This album, if you love prog rock, this is the album for you. It's prog rock, atmospheric rock. I almost even want to call it cloud rock, if that's even a thing. But what's crazy, there's only 5 songs, but it's still 30 minutes. And there's so much going on in those 30 minutes. The vocal harmonizing is great, along with the instrumentals, which, by the way, the instrumentation is the best part about this album. The guitaring is unreal, and there's so much happening. There's so much attention to detail. There's so many great musical passages that goes throughout the album, especially on the longer songs like Leviathan and Discworld / Projector. Like, some of the instrumentation in this album could be in some of the latest anime intros ever. It's straightforward and it doesn't drag on. Like, this album is I swear to God, this is by far the most underrated album of 2021. Seriously, if you haven't listened to this album, I highly recommend it. It's so fucking good. Next album we got is Nurture by Porter Robinson. This fucking album. Oh my God. I heard a lot of good things about it going into it, and I was still blown away. This is one of the most, like, amazing electronic pop albums I've probably ever heard, just ever. I'm not too familiar with Porter Robinson coming into it. Never really heard much about him. But after this, dude, this is one of the happiest albums I've ever heard in my life. This album is so magical. It is so angelic. It is like candy. This shit is like crack to my ears. Almost every song is so catchy and just uplifting. Like, especially on songs like Look at the Sky, Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do, Musician, and Something Comforting. My God, the drop on Something Comforting is legendary. Like, these songs are so catchy. The lyrics are so positive and uplifting. Like, the production is insane. It is so otherworldly. Like, the vibes is unreal. Like, there's not a ton for me to actually say about it. Like, I'm actually at a loss for words right now. Seriously, like, just go listen to this album. This album is incredible. Seriously, like, if you're having a shit day or you're genuinely depressed, put on this album and I guarantee you, it's gonna change your entire mood. Dude, I swear to God, bro, I listen to at least one song in the album, like, almost every day. I swear to God. Next up we got is An Evening with Silk Sonic by Silk Sonic. Now, I'm just gonna skim through this one pretty quickly because I did an entire review about it, which if you check it out, that would be amazing. But basically, just to keep it short, this is a great tribute to 70s funk and soul music. Is it the most original album ever? No. Is it a great nostalgic tribute to 70s funk and soul music? Abso-fucking-lutely. Bruno and Anderson both kill it. Production's great. It's just a really good fucking album. Next, we got The Life of Pierre 5. I'm also gonna kind of skim through this one. There's not really a ton for me to actually say about this album, but all I'm gonna say is vibes, 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 vibes. The vibes on this album it's a chef's kiss. Just it's just a good fucking album. There's not a lot for me to say. It's just a really nice album to listen to. Just the vibes are great. Like, a lot of people know Pierre as a producer, but he can make songs by himself. He can make some good ass catchy ass songs. And then, of course, him as a producer, the production is of course crazy. So yeah. Up next, we got Montero by Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X is becoming a superstar right now. Remember when people were assuming he was going to be a one-hit wonder after Old Town Road? That's fucking hilarious now because he is a certified hit maker, and it definitely shows up into fruition on this pop album. Yes, it is a pop album. I call it a pop album. It has some rap elements to it, but it's a fucking pop album. You know what I mean? There's way more pop than there is rap on it. The thing about this album, 7EP was more of like riding off his success, but this album is a lot more personal about his life, especially on songs like Sun Comes Down. Like, there's also bangers on this album like Industry Baby, which was by far one of the best hits off of 2021. He has a really good ear for beats and a really good ear for some catchy ass hooks, and I think it definitely works a lot in this album. Honestly, what really shows on this album is that he's a hit maker and he's here to stay. Up next we got is Duality by Samad Savage. Dog, this motherfucker's different, bro. I swear to God. When it comes to the whole like YouTube rappers, Samad is by far one of the most talented people in that entire bubble. He is so good at just rapping. He's just really good at rap. And it's 100% showcased on his new album, Duality. It has a great contrast as well because the first half of this album is just banger after banger after banger with good beats and good hooks and just him just rapping his ass off. The second half of the album just does a complete switcheroo and has way more singing, more mellow instrumentals. It's like basically like pop and R&B songs. And even that shit sounds good. Like, fuck. Please Miss Once. There's so many twists and turns. There's so much flavor into into the beats, and which is crazy because he produced most of the album. So that gets even more brownie points on top of being a really good rapper. Like, there's not really a lot of complaints I have with it. It's just really fucking good, bro. I'm telling you right now, in the direction that he's going, he is gonna get bigger and bigger, and I'm really excited on what he does next. Up next, we got King's Disease 2 by Nas. What the fuck? Now, I liked King's Disease 1. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was a masterpiece, but I thought it was pretty good. And when I found out there was a sequel, I was like, is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? I didn't know what I was really expecting. Oh my fucking god, this is definitely better than King's Disease 1. King's Disease 2, this shit is incredible, bro. How the fuck is Nas doing this? Like, Nas sounds so comfortable with Hit Boy. Like, there's introspective tracks, conceptual tracks, bangers, songs, for like the streets and shit. Hit Boy is becoming one of my favorite producers right now because of shit like this. Like, there's new school style beats, there's old school style beats, but even in the old school style beats, they sound so modernized and fresh. They don't sound stale, they sound so good. And then there's songs like 40 Side, where it's just literally a trap beat, and you think Nas will sound awkward on it, but even he sounds good on a trap beat. It's like what is going on right now? It's like everything about it, man. It's just the production is insane. Like, Hit Boy is killing this shit. Like, I love almost everything about it. Like, Nas rapping good, the lyrics are great, production is fantastic, the fucking feature list, it has some of my favorite songs period of the year. You got EPM2 with M, Nobody with Lauryn Hill, Composure with Hit Boy rapping and he sounds good, and Moments, and then Rare, and then just when you think all this was enough, then he drops fucking Magic a couple months later. Yeah, man, Nas and Hit Boy they've been going on a crazy run lately, and honestly, dude, at this point, I'm just excited what they do next. And finally, the last album that we're going to be talking about is none other than Donda by Kanye West. Donda feels bigger than an album. It feels like a whole grand experience. When the rollout was happening, we were kind of all just bitching and complaining because we were being lied to with delays and other people saying shit and all that. But now that the album is out, it is one of the most insane album rollouts I've ever seen, ever. It is almost 2 hours long. And the fact that it's this consistently good is so rare. What this album kind of sounds like, this album feels like acceptance and healing from the past, acknowledging and appreciating what I have now, but also acknowledging the journey that it took me to come to the position that I am now. This album kind of sounds like a mix between The Life of Pablo and Jesus is King with a touch of Yeezus. And especially now that Donda is out, there is almost no reason for me to even return to Jesus is King. Donda is what Jesus is King wished it could have been. So much different types of sounds. And yes, the production is great, because while the production is really good, not all of the songs are like insane, like over the top instrumental wise. Some of the beats are kind of minimal, but he makes it work so well, especially with the giant guest of features. Oh my lord. He has basically like the entire music industry on Donda. That's the thing about Kanye's like music with when he getting features. Almost all the features were amazing. Some of the verses on the album were some of the best verses of some of the feature artists' careers. Like Fabio Foreign had probably the best feature of the year. Vori was killing it. Andre 3000's verse can make you cry. Jay Electronica's verse was unreal. Don Toliver's vocals was angelic. Like almost every feature is performing at the top of their game. DJ Khaled could never And man, dude, some of the songs, they just hit me so hard. Like it just makes me feel some type of way. Like songs like Moon, Jonah, Jesus Lord, and especially Come to Life, man. My God, bro, the amount of times I've come back to this album is ridiculous. Like this might be my favorite album of the year. Just not just of how really good it is, but how much I come back to it, how much it grabs me. And yeah, I think this album is gonna age very well. And that is my list for the best albums of 2021. If you disagree with my list, drop your list down right in the comments. If you like this video, please subscribe for more. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, Robinera out. Peace. This is the end of the video. If you don't subscribe, then you is a hoe. I said this is the end of the video. If you don't subscribe, then you is a hoe.